Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Monday morning and I've got an interesting topic today to discuss, and that is women who send mail to prisoners. I find it interesting and I think a lot of other people do too. What's inspired me to do this video today is someone called Brittany Hislop, who has posted on Facebook that she's in love with Bryan Kohberger. This long Facebook post has made its way around the internet. So let's look at that first, and then I'm going to talk more generally about why women send mail to prisoners. So she starts off this really long post by talking about the fact that her posts on Facebook seem to be getting flagged. They're going against standards, inciting violence or something like that. She believes it's since she started mentioning things about her feelings for Bryan Kohberger. So we're going to read from here. As I've mentioned in previous posts, I've also gotten harassing comments from people since I started mentioning him as well. Well, I think people are confused about why she's posting this on Facebook. I don't know. Prior to me mentioning him on here, I wasn't getting all the comments and things showing up far too frequently about my account being restricted and things going against the standards and things like that. So she talks again about community standards. And I mean, to be honest, Facebook is a little bit ridiculous on some of the posts it flags. I mean, in my Facebook group, posts get flagged to me as admin. More often than not, I can't really see anything wrong with them. I don't know. But Facebook takes them down. It's not me. Facebook takes them down. So Facebook is being unrighteous and unjust towards her. I know that it's likely isn't my crush Bryan doing that, since he may not even have access to computers or tablets in jail. Well, I don't know about him being in a county jail, whether he get access to a tablet. Chris Watts has access to a tablet. Shall we talk a little bit about Chris Watts as well? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Chris Watts as well, because he got loads of fan mail when he was sitting in Weld County Jail. The reason I know this is because those mails found themselves in the Discovery files, and I made a couple of videos about them. So let's look at that too. Okay, and even if he did, he may not even wish to do things like that to me. If it was him doing it, it's likely just to be because he's interested in seeing sides of my personality and how I react and handle things. So she thinks that he's flagging her posts to see how she'll react. Or possibly even because of him being intelligent. He's not that intelligent, is he? And knowing ways that I need to work on improving myself. Oh dear. However, I think there's a good chance that whoever is behind making these things happen in terms of making my account be restricted, and far too many things show up about my posts going against standards, someone that isn't someone I'd be fond of, like I am Bryan. Since he's my love interest, and it's someone that may just wish for others to see me as bad and unrighteous, when they're the one that's being unrighteous for making things show up when I haven't done anything wrong. There are people that have the power to restrict people's accounts and ban them. Yeah, there are. Facebook. And will do that for reasons that are valid or understandable, blah, blah, blah. While I don't want to ever criticise someone I'd respect and care about, and my love interest being one of them, when it comes to certain ones that would need to be put in their place by me, I would like to give them a pieces of my mind and put them in their place. Good for you. Good for you, Brittany. I know that there are certain people that aren't that significant to me and that I don't like romantically and I'm not attracted to, that I also wouldn't desire to criticise necessarily. For example, how I mentioned that in a post I shared a thumbnail of a YouTube video of that showed the picture I added hearts and stickers to of Bryan, and I wasn't intending to criticise her or something along those lines. I wasn't mentioning that I wasn't trying to criticise her because she's significant to me or because I like her romantically or anything like that. But I want to share how nothing like that has ever happened to me before, with someone taking a photo I made and using it as a thumbnail and many people viewing it. Well, many people are going to view this but this was a public post on Facebook, so it's doing the rounds. I got this from Twitter. Oh dear. Also, if I did like her romantically, that would mean I like the same sex in that way. And when I'm actually someone who has wanted to find my true love that is a male, and that I'm attracted to and want wholeheartedly, that I can experience a true love and fulfilling relationship with. So presumably this is Bryan Kohberger. I find it very amusing that if Bryan is getting fan mail, like women falling in love with him, if he's truly an incel, i.e. an involuntary celibate, isn't it ironic that now he's in jail and he can't pursue any love interests, that he's getting attention, maybe attention that he's craved. Maybe it's making him feel good for once in his life, who knows. Yesterday there was a note on my front door from a family member on my mother's side of the family, and the note said that she was wondering how me and my son, she's got a son, no way, are doing, and she gave me her phone number. But I don't want to reach out because of how many years I've been a closed-off person that keeps to myself. And also, I can be hard to be close with unless I feel significantly about someone and makes me want them in my life. But me not wanting to reach out that family member isn't because of animosity that I feel towards her. And I know that with her leaving her phone number, even though I don't want to reach out, not saying anything is better than being dramatic towards someone when communicating, which I'm not going to do, nor do I have the desire to do. This is another interesting thing, that a family member's reaching out, maybe because they're worried about her, maybe. I know that what she wrote in that letter wasn't dramatic or something that I'd need to react by defensive about, even though I don't feel positive about calling and reaching out. There are some people that I would need to be on the defensive with and stand up for myself. But what she wrote in that letter, she's not one of them, even though I don't want to communicate. I know that with me being a closed-off person like I've been for years, even though I come on here and post, she should have made this post private. She should have made this post private. It could have to do with life experiences I've had and things I've been through, although I'm not sure if the moon phase, when I was born, has anything to do with it, even though there's a chance it does. With me being born at 4:14 a.m. under a new moon, from what I've been informed of via online sources regarding my birth chart, that was in the sign of Scorpio, and makes me think of how it was a moonless night and there wasn't a moon in the sky. Although there could have been stars. Yes, there will have been stars. There will have been stars, definitely. It was only darkness in terms of the night sky and having no moon visible. One source years ago said that it was a waning crescent moon with a low percentage of visibility, while other sources said it was a new moon, which means no moon. And I'm going to go with believing it was a new moon until I ever have more legitimate proof from a trustworthy source. Knowing my true birth chart placements is important to me, and when I ever mention them to someone, I want them to be correct and know for sure they are. Although, with what I know now about them, I wonder if they are accurate from what I've been informed of. With me knowing there's a chance that Bryan can't see these posts and having trust issues with my local post office, in terms of not wanting them to interfere with my mail being sent out, the post office is not going to interfere with your mail being sent out, Brittany, they're not. And me wanting them to be ethical and trustworthy with it, I'm sure they will be. And knowing that if anyone ever interferes with the process of him receiving the letters, then not only is there a chance he can't see my post, but also he won't receive my letters. And I've had genuine feelings for him and want him to know some people may have never experienced feelings like that, and they may not know how that has made me feel. I may have certain trust issues because of how some people have done things throughout my life, although I've read that my zodiac sign is one that can have trust issues. I still am sane enough to know that it's different when I place a letter at the post office to be sent out than giving it to someone on the street or expecting someone else to get it to the post office for me. I also know that if the employees at the post office aren't trustworthy, and I think one reason is because I think of all possibilities, I think you're overthinking. I know that the mail travels to other places beside my local post office. Yes, it travels to its destination. And I know that it's in the hands of the jail staff before they give it to him. Yes, it is. And also, there is a chance that your mail is going to make it into the discovery of that criminal case. It's going to be there forever in the public domain. So there's that to be aware of. So Brittany, if you ever see this video, just be aware. I'm going to show you some that were sent to Chris Watts in a minute. So I have to hope they're trustworthy as well as in giving it to him. Maybe some people will understand how I would feel differently about certain people banning and restricting my account if it was someone I'd like and respect versus someone that I wouldn't. No matter who is behind doing that, I know they're not going to make me feel like I'm in the wrong when I know when I'm in the wrong and when I'm not. So I don't know if she's actually sent any letters to Bryan Kohberger or whether she's trying to reach out to him via Facebook. But yeah, Chris Watts. The first videos on this channel were about Chris Watts, and I was going through letters that he'd written. I was going through the discovery. I went through the entirety of the discovery in my first, 30, 40 videos on this channel. And one of them was this, and I did another one. I did a follow-up later to this. So, Chris Watts, fan and hate mail. So, let's just look at some of these. Hey Chris, my name is Candice. I really hope that you're all right. I'm writing to you to tell you that I'm really sorry about what has happened and sure that you need a friend. I know that you don't know me and I don't know you, but I would really, really hope that one day you and I could meet. I also was wondering if you may have wanted to be pen pals so you don't feel so alone. Oh. Love heart, you're a great guy. Some of them, though, weren't so nice, like freaks of nature like you. Defective. But no, overwhelmingly, the letters that he received when he was in Weld County Jail were those of love interests. I wanted to send you a greetings card, but I have no idea what the mail rules are there, so I'm playing it safe with a boring letter. At least I hope it's not boring. You're probably being bombarded with mail, huh? I hope I haven't invaded your space by reaching out. That's not my intention at all. I found myself thinking a lot about you. I wasn't going to write because part of me figured maybe this letter wouldn't be welcomed by you. But I figured life is too short. So here I am. Yeah, he received a lot of letters. So there's that. But why? Why are women sending letters to murderers in jail? Because Chris Watts wasn't just a suspect, right? He pled guilty straight away. He caved straight away. And he murdered his wife, Shanann, and his two little baby girls, Bella and Cece, and his unborn baby, baby Nico. But yet women thought he was a great guy, were concerned about his feelings. So why do women do this? Well, as I said at the beginning, there's a lot been talked about in relation to why women love men in prison. Why do they send them letters? So this is a blog, and I thought this was interesting, so I'm going to read it to you. I'll leave a link to this in the description box so you can read it yourself. So this episode is about prison letters. The interest came when I received a letter from the Oregon Department of Corrections. It was from an inmate, and he was addressing someone he seemingly had a connection with in the outside world. The handwriting was perfect, words flowed very well, and he clearly was trying to reach out to a woman who most likely lived in my home before me. Though the letter never reached the person it was intended for, it did spark significant questions, such as why do prisoners attract women so well? Yeah, they attract more women than they probably did when they were living on the outside world. Isn't that just ironic? Does real prison love exist, or is it all a scam? And how do these prisoners learn to write so well in the first place? Well, probably because many prisoners have got an education. Before they committed crimes that they got sent down for, probably were quite successful in life. Maybe. Myth. Women must be twisted to fall in love with prisoners. And then there's this Hybristophilia. When it comes to having a strong attraction to societal deviants, criminals and prisoners, Hybristophilia comes to mind. This is a paraphilia where people are aroused by people who've committed outrageous acts, such as cheating and crimes, including rape and murder. The thing that makes this so interesting is that it's different for everyone. Some are more passive about it, while others aggressive. So there's passive and aggressive forms of this particular paraphilia. Passive, this is when someone is drawn to criminals, but they do not act on it or try to assist them in any way. This may show passion through being an advocate for prisoners or simply enjoying movies, such as, I don't know what that is, and Prison Break on a deeper level. Aggressive version, though, is where trouble can arise. These are men and women who protectively help the criminal they're attracted to. This means they could lure victims in, cover for criminals, bury bodies, and other severe acts. Bonnie and Clyde are the perfect example. Well, I'm thinking about Myra Hindley and Ian Brady here. I guess I could see how having this kind of sexual attraction to the bad boy, like maybe it's got some kind of survival mechanism, from an evolutionary theory standpoint. So why do so many prisoners criminals in relationships? That sentence doesn't make sense. The answer is quite simple. It's a mixture of hybristophilia, the desire for excitement from their mundane lives, the long-distance passion and the fantasy of it all makes people drawn to their lifestyle. In fact, there are over 40 different websites that cater to prisoners dating. Wow. Potential consequences. It would be nice to have a happy ending every time. There are significant consequences from dating a known criminal. For example, a book called Dream Lovers, Women Who Marry Men Behind Bars, talks about a real-life incident. 2 sisters walked out of their long-term, boring relationships to get with prisoners. When those men were released, one of the sisters was murdered and the other was beaten and tortured, which sent her supposed lover back to jail. With this as a possibility, always be aware of the dangers you could be subjecting yourself to if you decide to follow that journey. With that being a solid case, does that mean that all prison love is fake and they are nothing but predators? Myth, there's no such thing as true love. There are some genuine and sincere relationships, but there's also tons of scams as well. How do you know the difference? If you're reading a letter from someone behind bars and they ask for money in any way, it's likely a scam. Do not fall for it. They could either be reaching out to women and men for financial gain, attention with the media, or to gain supporters, just like Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, and Scott Peterson did. For the record, serial killers such as those noted above are less often associated with scams and writing letters. So I get that prisoners might reach out to people via these prison dating sites, some of which might be just for money, some of whom might be lonely, etc. What I find most interesting is the women who reach out, and probably some men, who make the first move. And you know what? I think the answer is very simple. I think they're lonely. I think they want to feel like they're in a relationship, but with someone who they know they can't get close to and who can't get close to them. So I think this Brittany, who wrote this long Facebook post, answered the question here, that she doesn't trust. She distrusts everyone to the point where she's even distrusting the post office. Someone behind bars that you can feel you have a relationship with, that you have a connection with, it's safe, isn't it? Because they're behind bars. It's safe. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been Michelle. Hope you're well. I'll see you in the next video. It's goodbye from Miss Tillington and Miss Cassie Springer. Bye, guys.